Good evening, everybody. How exciting it is to once again welcome the members of our BD Nation family, wherever you happen to be calling in from. In fact, put down in the chat right now the city and the country that you're coming from. And once again, we will be able to see the incredible United Nations that represents this incredible company ByDzyne. Every single time I think about what has been accomplished in the last 2 years, I'm absolutely amazed that the global footprint that has been established by ByDzyne definitely has set some records and puts our company in a category of the elite companies that in the beginning couple of years really started to march around the globe. And now is no exception. And we've got brand ambassadors literally on every continent of the world. Our products and services are being used and enjoyed all around the world. And tonight, we're all together for another edition of EMF 101 with Marty Grosjean. And these products that we're going to be featuring and talking about tonight definitely are in a category of products that our ByDzyne members and customers are falling in love with these products because they know that when they are using these products, they are doing something beneficial for the health of themselves as individuals, as well as the health of their families. So, Marty, it's great to have you with us every single time that we are featuring EMF 101. Tonight is absolutely no exception. We're excited to hear the information that you're going to present to us tonight. And so, without any further delay, we turn the time and the mic over to you, Marty, for EMF 101.
Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate it. And I'm going to share my screen here. Whoops. As always, I appreciate you, your fine introduction and your invitation to have us be here at the BD Protect training or ByDzyne training. And let me just get the right screen going here. And we will be all set to go. There we go. So thanks everybody for attending. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about the BD Protect products. That is a very important line of EMF protection products offered by ByDzyne. And our company is one of the partners in creating those products with ByDzyne, and we are excited to share with you the information in the training to help you learn all about it. This is just a quick snapshot that you see here of the 4 different products in the BD Protect line, and we will jump into each one of them in more detail as we go through. But just a quick overview, the one on the left is the BD Protect EMF protection sticker that goes on your cell phone, your laptop computer, your iPad, and other wireless devices. The second one is the BD Protect car, which, as you might assume, goes in your car to protect you from EMF radiation in the car. The third is the BD Protect home and office kit, which turns your entire home or office into a protected safe zone where your body is protected from the harms of EMF radiation. And then lastly is the BD Protect bracelet, which is a very stylish accessory that you wear with you and offers you EMF protection wherever you go from whatever source. So again, we'll dive into each of those a little bit later. But first, the question, of course, that most people have is, why do I need to worry about EMFs or EMF radiation? Well, the reason is that it is an environmental toxin, is what we call it, in the sense that it is an unnatural element in our environment that we are exposed to that our bodies are not designed or suited to handle. And of course, the amount of EMF radiation we are exposed to is increasing every day. Our cell phones are getting more powerful. We're all getting more devices. 5G technology is being rolled out in many places. All of this is increasing our exposure to EMF radiation. And of course, you might ask, well, what kind of damage is this going to do to me? And the real answer is that as an environmental toxin, EMF radiation exposure can lead to many different types of symptoms or problems. It depends a lot on your underlying health condition, the strength of the EMF frequencies that you're exposed to, and many other factors. But some of the symptoms that some of the health studies have found are lowered immune system response. So you're less able to fight off diseases and illnesses that come along, damage to your DNA, changes in hormone level, including reproductive issues, headaches, sleep problems, mental health issues, even susceptibility to certain cancers. And this is documented research studies from very prestigious universities and government institutions that have found these types of symptoms or issues, health issues arising from EMF exposure. And this is just a small list. The other thing to recognize is that some people are very sensitive to EMF exposure. It's a syndrome called EMF hypersensitivity. So there are certain people, and you may know some of them, who have a very difficult time even talking on a cell phone or being in a room with a Wi-Fi router. They just happen to be very sensitive to the effects of EMFs. They especially, of course, will benefit from the BD Protect product line. But even those of us who aren't particularly sensitive and can't feel the immediate effects of being exposed to EMF radiation, it is nonetheless doing damage to our health. Again, as I mentioned earlier, it's sort of like an environmental toxin where, like radon or mold or asbestos or those sort of well-known environmental toxins, you don't feel anything as you're being exposed to them, but over long periods, they will most definitely lead to health problems, and EMF radiation is the same. If you're interested in learning more, there's plenty, I would say at this point, well over 1,000 studies available. And you can spend a few minutes perusing them and you very quickly understand the nature of the problem. There are two websites listed at the bottom of this screen that are two really good websites with lists of some of these research studies that have been done. So if you're interested in learning more about all of the possible dangers of EMF radiation, I would encourage you to go to those two websites there. Now, who needs to worry about EMF radiation exposure? Of course, everybody. Basically, on average, in the United States, half of your average adult's day is dedicated to consuming and interacting with media, according to this study by Nielsen. That, of course, means if they're consuming media that they're staring at a screen like a phone or an iPad or a computer, and that device is emitting EMF radiation. And the smartphone is one of the biggest emitters of EMF radiation in our lives. And there, of course, everybody has one, if not more. 3 billion people worldwide now own smartphones, 84% of Americans. And this is a 2018 study, so I'm sure it's even much higher than that at this point in time. The point is, it's a problem for everybody. There is no corner of the world at this point that is really left untouched by EMF radiation, and therefore it's a concern for pretty much everyone. So why BD Protect? What is it about those that helps deal with the EMF radiation exposure? So as I mentioned before, there are 4 simple solutions. One for your cell phone, Wi-Fi routers, and other wireless devices, the bracelet that you wear wherever you go, the home and office kit, which creates a protected zone for everyone within it, and then the EMF car, EMF protection sticker for the car, which also basically turns your car into a safe zone. How does that do it? Well, it is what we call a bioenergetic technology. It comes from Europe, and it's a proprietary technology, but it neutralizes the harmful effects of the EMF radiation, so that when it comes into contact with your body, it's not going to have the negative health consequences that it otherwise would. So how does this BD Protect technology work, this bioenergetic technology? Well, the products are made in a sort of 3-step process. So step 1, at our workshop in Austria, the product, whether it's one of the stickers or the bracelet itself, they are placed into a chamber in which the energy is transmitted to that particular product. And after spending some time there and taking that product out, the products then emit the energy that was transmitted to them. So that's what we call the storage process, is when the energy is put into the product. The broadcast product process is what happens after the information has been transferred to it. And then the harmonizing process happens when the energy coming from that device comes into contact with a human or a wireless device. And so these products, once they're made in our workshop in Austria, they are emitting this protective energy forever. They do not wear out, and they are protecting your health and neutralizing the EMFs from the devices to which they're attached. So there's, along those lines, there are basically 2 levels of protection for the BD Protect products. The first is that the energy in the device interferes with the negative or harmful energy of the EMF radiation that is coming from the whatever device it's being emitted from, whether it's a cell phone or a Wi-Fi router or a cell phone tower. When it comes into contact with the energy in the BD Protect product, it's going to be neutralized. One of the examples that we like to use when talking about that is the way that noise canceling headphones work is that they emit frequencies that exactly offset the frequencies of the noise it's coming in your ears. Therefore, the background noise when you're wearing them is canceled out, and you can't tell that there's noise in the background. It's a similar concept for the way the harmful energy from EMF radiation is neutralized. Essentially, the BD Protect products are sending out frequencies to offset those negative ones so that they are neutral and not causing you harm. The second level of function that the BD Protect products use is what's called, I guess you call it a health supporting energy. So it not only is it working, are they working on the energy emitted by the devices, but they are working with the energy of your body as well, providing them support, especially at the cellular level, increasing the energy level of your cells, which then makes your body stronger and better able to withstand the negative impact of the EMF radiation exposure. Between those 2 things, it essentially is going to make sure that your health is maintained regardless of how much EMF you are exposed to, as we'll see later in some of the studies that we talk about. And the way that this bioenergetic technology works is what's called the quantum energy level. That is a subatomic level, meaning smaller than atoms, much smaller than molecules, like so small that you can't measure it, you can't see it with a microscope, you can't measure it with a meter. It is essentially below the surface of matter. And so there is no way to actually measure the effect of the BD Protect products using a meter or seeing it under a microscope. However, there are other ways to measure it. We'll talk about it in a minute. But just to give you other examples of this type of quantum energy, if you look at traditional healing methods such as acupuncture and homeopathy, acupuncture, of course, being from traditional Chinese medicine, it uses the concept of qi. Qi is basically a quantum energy, and what acupuncture does is it directs that energy around your body, and that's what gives it the healing properties. By placing the needles around in different places of the body, it's directing the energy. Prana in Ayurvedic medicine from India, that is the same type of energy as well. That's a quantum subatomic energy. You can't measure either of those energies in those ancient healing methods either, but yet they've been around for thousands of years, and people have been healing with them forever. So this is actually not anything new. This type of energy healing or energy protection has been around for many, many years. Homeopathy, if anyone has ever heard of homeopathy, that's another sort of medicinal healing type of approach that uses quantum energy as well to transfer energy into the body. So, as I mentioned, because this is working at the quantum or subatomic level, it's not actually affecting the EMFs that you are being exposed to. It's not blocking EMF radiation. It's not lowering EMF radiation. So if you hold an EMF meter up, you will not see a difference when you put a BD Protect product, say, on your cell phone or on your Wi-Fi router. It will measure the same amount of radiation. And really, that's a positive thing, because if you block the EMF radiation coming from your cell phone or from your Wi-Fi router, they don't work anymore. And that obviously isn't practical. So you can easily block all the EMFs from your cell phone. You can buy like steel or metal lined pouches and you put your cell phone in and zip it up. No more EMFs come out, but you're also not going to get any texts or any phone calls or anything like that. So really, blocking EMFs is not practical, especially with all the cell phones around us, cell phone towers, around us in the world. You can't block those out of your life, and all the Wi-Fi networks and all of your neighbors' Wi-Fi networks. There are just too many sources to be able to eliminate EMF radiation. So neutralizing it with the bioenergetic technology in the BD Protect products is really the only practical way to protect yourself from the harmful effects of EMF radiation, and also affordable as well. So I mentioned again, you cannot measure these products with a meter or see how they work under a microscope or whatever. So the only way to really know that they do work is to take measurements of the body's health with and without using the products. And there are many different ways you can do that. But basically, the concept down here is, first you take measurements of health, and it could be a heart rate variability test, skin conductivity test. We've done research studies with both of those, even blood tests, live blood cell analysis, and basic physiological measurements like heart rate, blood pressure, pH level. All those things are impacted by EMF exposure. So you start, if you want to run a test, you start by taking somebody's health measurements just in their baseline state without any EMF exposure, just to see what their health is. Then you expose them to EMF. Normally, that's having them make a cell phone call for 5 minutes and hold the cell phone to their ears is a good way to do it, or sit next to a Wi-Fi router. Then you take their measurements a second time, and of course, you will always find that their health measurements have dropped pretty significantly after being exposed to the EMFs. Then the third test, you do the same thing, a cell phone call or sitting them down next to a Wi-Fi router, but this time you put the BD Protect sticker on the cell phone or the router, or you give them a bracelet and they make another 5-minute phone call. Then you take their measurements a third time, and sure enough, their health is always go back up to level 1 and sometimes even above what it was in level 1. So in other words, their health is either back where they started before EMF exposure or even healthier just by virtue of using the BD Protect products. There's also one really fun and easy test that you can do that just sort of demonstrates that the products are doing something, and it works with the bracelet. So if you take 2 glasses of lemon juice and put them a couple of feet apart from each other, and you wrap the BD Protect bracelet around the bottom of one, let it sit for a minute or two, and then taste the difference between the harmonized lemon juice that had the BD Protect bracelet and the other one. And the taste difference is fairly dramatic in terms of how much smoother and less bitter the harmonized lemon juice is. So that's another great test to use just to sort of demonstrate that it's doing something. So, you know, you don't have to take our word for it because, of course, you know, we have had third-party research institutions do the types of studies that I was just talking about, where they measure people's health with and without using the BD Protect products. This one here that this slide is talking about was done by a research institute in Europe, and they used the highest standards for scientific research, a randomized double-blind study. There were 15 subjects, and they measured their health in 5 different ways in under 5 different scenarios. And mainly in this case, they were being exposed to EMF radiation from a Wi-Fi router that was sitting right next to them. And the conclusion of the study is that indeed the bracelet did provide protective health effects against the Wi-Fi radiation. And not only that, even if there wasn't Wi-Fi radiation available or in the environment, it still improved their health. So essentially what that means is just by virtue of wearing the BD Protect bracelet, you are going to be improving your health regardless of how much EMF radiation you're exposed to. So very exciting test that we got finished about a year ago. This is another really interesting test that we did, and honestly, one that you could do yourself as well. So we grew 2 bowls of sprouts. So they're identical bowls with the identical amount of dirt and amount of sprout seeds in them. They were grown in the same window for the same amount of time. You can see here on the left, this is a Wi-Fi router, this white box right here. And it's also here, the same one on the right as well. On the left though, we grew these sprouts for 10 days. There was no BD Protect sticker on here, and you can see what they look like. Not particularly healthy. In fact, sick, basically, is what they were, and they did not come in healthy or vibrant. Same amount of sprouts, same bowl, same window, same router, but with the BD Protect sticker on there, 10 days later, this is what the bowl of sprouts looks like. So think about what that means for your health, right? This is your body on EMF radiation. This is your body on EMF radiation with BD Protect technology. So it's a very dramatic example of the difference. And first of all, the negative health consequences of EMF exposure. And second of all, what the BD Protect products can do for that. And this is definitely something that you can do at home if you want to try it. We've had people do it before themselves, and the results are always the same. So now let's jump into the particular products, the 4 different BD Protect products, and we'll talk a little bit more about each, and then we'll leave some time at the end for questions as well. So first we'll talk about the BD Protect sticker. So this is a small sort of stiff metallized sticker. It's about a little less, or actually no, I think it's just about 1 inch by 1 inch. And it's for your mobile phone and Wi-Fi router, most especially, but also your laptop, your iPad. You can put it on the power supply that's under your desk, cordless phones, baby monitors, really any wireless device that's emitting a significant amount of EMF radiation is an ideal candidate for having the BD Protect sticker on it. And the mobile phone and the Wi-Fi router in particular are the 2 most powerful emitters of EMF radiation in most people's lives. If you think about it, the mobile phone has to communicate with a cell phone tower that's could be 5 kilometers away. And that obviously needs a strong signal to be able to do that. And by the way, it's doing that constantly. It's constantly sending out signals to that cell phone tower down the road that it's still here and it can get a phone call. So your cell phone, whether you're using it or not, it's always emitting EMF frequencies into your environment. And Wi-Fi routers are very powerful as well, because they are, of course, broadcasting out signals to create the network area, which can easily be 500 feet in diameter with some of these Wi-Fi routers these days. So that's a very powerful amount of EMF radiation that's being emitted in order to create that network. So very great, flexible, and relatively inexpensive product that you can use for your wireless devices. Next comes the BD Protect bracelet. The really nice feature about the BD Protect bracelet is it protects you from all of the EMF radiation that you come into contact with wherever you go and from whatever source it's coming from. So with the sticker we were looking at before, of course, it's working primarily on the EMF radiation that's coming from the device to which it's attached, the cell phone or the Wi-Fi router or the laptop, etc. In the case of the bracelet, it's mainly protecting you and your body from any EMF coming from any source, whether that be your own cell phone, your spouse's cell phone, your Wi-Fi router, your neighbor's Wi-Fi router, the cell phone tower down the street. You are being protected from all sources of EMFs by wearing this bracelet. So it's very flexible and powerful from that perspective. As you can see, there are 4 special energy elements on the bottom of the bracelet that have these 4 features here. One is for sending far infrared rays into your body. So that helps to sort of boost your overall physiological health. Then there's enhanced energetic grounding to the Earth's energy. So remaining in contact with the natural frequencies of Mother Earth is very good for your health. Extra support against EMF radiation is in one of them. And the last one basically provides additional negative ions to support a balanced energy state in your body. Most of us in most of the environments that we live in have too many positive ions and not enough negative ions, and that creates a state of imbalance, which is not good for health. So between those 4 extra energy elements, you're getting not only the EMF protection, but all these other added health benefits, which is again why in the study we were looking at before, they actually measured health benefits even in the absence of EMF radiation. You can wear this bracelet anytime you want, 24 hours a day. You can wear it while you're sleeping. It's quite comfortable. It's waterproof. You can wear it in the shower while you're swimming. It's quite a durable but yet, as you can see, quite attractive piece. And so, if you don't have the home protection system, which we'll talk about next, then it really is a good idea to wear your bracelets all the time, even when you're at home. But let's talk about the home protection system. So the home and office protection kit takes a little bit different approach. So instead of working on your body or on a particular device, this is creating a protected zone in your whole home so that all people and all pets and all plants, everything within the home are protected from the harmful effects of the EMF radiation, both coming from within your home as well as coming from outside of your home. Because of course, most of us have EMF radiation coming into our home from our neighbors' Wi-Fi routers, from the cell phone towers down the street, from satellites up in the sky now. I mean, literally there are Wi-Fi signal, or there's EMF signals coming from everywhere. By creating a protected zone in your home with the EMF home and office kit, you are protected from all of those EMFs. And it's, again, for everyone in the family, anyone who is within that home is having their health protected. So this basically consists of a series of small stainless steel discs. So you get one larger one. This is about, I don't know, 3 by 5 inches or so. These are very small and they fit on an outlet. So this goes on your fuse box or your circuit breaker box. And these go on 4 different outlets or light switches, either one, within your home. Then the energy from these plates circulates throughout the wiring in the entire home. And that's what creates the sort of protected zone from within the home where all things are protected within it. It also happens to restore the natural balance of negative and positive ions. So I mentioned that in the last slide when we were talking about the ions from the bracelet. This too will create a natural balance of ions within your home, which is healthier, makes you feel better, removes harmful pollution from the air. So it's just all in all very beneficial process. And then lastly, we have the BD Protect car. And that works similar to the home and office kit in the sense that it is creating a safe zone within your car where all people, all pets, everything within the car is being protected from the EMF radiation. And this is just another small stainless steel plate, if you will, also about 3 by 5 inches. It has an adhesive backing on it, so you can stick it to the side of the car or something like that, or you can just set it in your console. You can even put it under your seat. It just needs to be in the car somewhere. And then it too is going to circulate its energy throughout the wiring in the car, just like the one in the home, and create that protected zone where all people are protected, and that's from the EMFs coming from within the car as well as from outside the car. And, you know, especially the newer cars, they are virtual hot boxes of EMF radiation. They have their own Wi-Fi networks. They are connected cellularly to the phone system. They have Bluetooth technology in them. You probably have your cell phone on. Anybody else in the car has their cell phone on. I mean, it's sort of like driving down the road in a microwave oven is what I compare it to. So if you spend a lot of time in your car, it's definitely a good idea to have the BD Protect sticker in there. Now, if you don't spend that much time in your car and you have the ByDzyne BD Protect bracelet, you know, it's probably optional if you just use your car to run errands every once in a while and you're wearing your bracelet. But if you spend a significant amount of time in your car or you don't have a BD Protect bracelet, it's an excellent product to have for certain. I guess the last thing that I wanted to touch on before we finish up here is just talk briefly about 5G technology. So some of you have probably heard about 5G because it's being talked about a lot and hyped very heavily as this amazing, great thing because, you know, we'll always have a high-speed internet connection wherever we go. And wow, how wonderful is that? Except the problem is that in order to make 5G work, you have to have many, many more cell phone towers than with the older technology. Not only that, the EMF frequencies being emitted by those cell phone towers is at a much higher frequency than the old 4G and 3G and earlier technology. And this new high frequency, they call it millimeter wave technology, has had virtually no testing done on it in terms of how it affects human health. In fact, not only that, but about 20 years ago, the US government or the US military created a weapon system that used the same millimeter wave technology. And by broadcasting this technology at the enemy, they caused skin irritation. And it was basically a crowd dispersal weapon to get the enemy or, you know, the crowd or whoever they were trying to disperse to leave because of the discomfort that was felt from this EMF radiation that they were beaming at them from a radar on top of a truck. So long story short, there's a lot of unanswered questions about the potential negative health consequences of 5G radiation. And, you know, who knows what it is because nobody studied it at all. This is a brand new technology. No scientific research has been done on how it impacts human health. The little that's out there is not positive so far. So I just tell you this because it's another reason to be concerned about your EMF exposure. It's only, as I said in the beginning, it's only getting stronger every day, the amount of EMF radiation that we're exposed to. And if you read through some of those studies on those two websites I mentioned earlier, you'll start to get worried because these are very prestigious universities and research institutions that have been doing the research on the health effects of EMF exposure. And, you know, it's significant. So I think that is enough of me yammering for right now. And at this point, we would love to take any questions that anybody may have about the presentation, the products, or anything else.
Marty, it looks
Not
like
everybody at once.
Some Spanish greetings, but no questions. I think it's a symbol of the excellent way that you give the explanation that it probably answers people's questions before they ask them. But for any of the members of BD Nation that are on with us right now, this is a perfect moment while we have Marty with us that you can ask these questions. So put it in the chat box. Marty and I are looking at it together. Marty, my Spanish is not all that great, but I do see a question about using these products for children. Maybe
Yes.
you could just address that in general.
Yes, and the answer is that it is completely safe to use with children, and there's no problem using, you know, the sticker on their phones or their devices or having them wear the bracelet. And in fact, the bracelet, if it's too long on the end, like if this part sticks out too much, you can just trim it off with the scissors so that it's not sticking out. Because for very small wrists, even some grown-ups that have very small wrists, it's needed to do that, but it's no problem at all. It's not going to harm. It has no negative effects on children. It has no negative effects if you are already ill with something. There's no contraindications with any medicine or anything like that. So it's all very harmless technology.
If anybody has questions, again, put it down in the chat box right now. This is our perfect timing while we have literally a world-class and a worldwide expert on everything to do with EMF and the particular products through the BD Protect line. So there's another question. How about babies as little as 10 months old?
As little as 10 months old is fine. The only thing you want to be careful about with very small babies is that you don't want them to obviously chew on it or get it in their mouth, right? So, a 10-month-old baby, I don't know if their wrist is too small for the bracelet to be on it. You want to be careful because, it could obviously potentially be a choking hazard. However, you can also put it on their ankle just as effectively as on their wrist. And that works with grown-ups too. If for whatever reason you don't want to wear the bracelet on your wrist, you can wear it on your ankle, or you can put it on your baby's ankle, and it will be just as effective as if it was on the wrist. I see another question here, which is, do you have to recharge the products or replace them or anything like that? And the answer is no. They work indefinitely. So there's no need to recharge them. They do not wear out. Once that energy is transferred into the product, as I showed in that one slide, it is going to then broadcast out that energy forever, because at the quantum level, which is where this energy is working, there is no, it's really a sort of timeless and spaceless world or environment. So there is no wearing out of that energy, that it lasts as long as possible. You can even take the sticker from one cell phone and move it to another. Generally, they will peel off fairly easily, and they're still usually are a little bit sticky on the bottom, so you can just move it on the back of your next cell phone or your next computer. But if not, you can also use glue or tape or anything. As long as the sticker is in contact with the device, it will continue to work. Any other questions?
Let me also give a quick thank you to Julian, who is making sure that he translates these Spanish questions into English for our benefit.
Thank you,
And
Julian.
While we're waiting to see if anyone else puts any questions in the chat, it looks like in the room that you are currently in, Marty, I can see out of 2 windows. Am I actually looking at the real scenery out your windows, or do you have something painted that just looks that beautiful on those windows?
No, it's the real thing. As I mentioned earlier, Dave, I just moved up into the mountains a couple of weeks ago. So I'm at about 2,500 meters above sea level in the mountains right now. So there's nothing around except trees and birds and bees, which is very nice.
Well, it sounds like maybe you're in an environment that as soon as you walk out the door, there's not a lot of EMF radiation that you're worrying about.
That's a good point. I'm about as far from EMF radiation as you can get. In fact, I get no cell phone signal here. I don't even get electricity here. I have to use solar for my electricity. So this is one place you can go to get rid of EMF radiation, but obviously that's not realistic for most of us. And when I was younger, I couldn't have done it either, but my kids are gone. I don't have to go anywhere anymore. So it's a good place.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Well, let me thank you once again. It looks like we have exhausted the questions, and let me just tell you that one of my favorite things, Marty, about the way that you present this information is that it is so simple and straightforward. And when I'm taking notes and when other people are taking notes, you actually say things that lay people like us can actually repeat. And that's a great skill, because there are some product experts that when they talk, it kind of goes over all of our heads, and it's almost impossible to take that information and duplicate it outside of the meeting. So thank you so much for being with us again tonight, and grateful for the way that you package this information. I know that I speak for every member of BD Nation that is on this call with us right now, that they feel exactly the same way I do. They enjoy it every single time you're here. And let me also mention to you that over the past couple of weeks, I was in 8 different major American cities attending ByDzyne events. Well, in so many places, people were talking about that bracelet. And they said 2 things. Number one, they love the way it looks, but also they love the peace of mind that it gives them in their soul when they're wearing that bracelet on their wrist. So I thought you might enjoy hearing that there were tons of comments like that. And I know that that's the way our family feels all around the world. So thank you so much for helping us understand the great value and the benefits of using these incredible BD Protect products. And we will see you again in another few weeks from now.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate the opportunity, and we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.